All right, welcome back everybody. In today's video, we're going to do the 3.5 week update of how these 10 ceramic sprays are doing on my car. I noticed the water beading was hurting a little bit the other day in the rain. I've had a whole lot of rain over the last few weeks. I live by the coast, so the rain is a little salty. It kind of hits similar to some winter weather up north. Not near as bad, but there's definitely some more mineral content in my rain than most. We're going to give it a pre-wash with Built Hamber Touchless at 1% panel impact ratio, and then we're going to do a contact wash with CarPro Reset, and then see how they do. I'm going to wash it off camera just to kind of make this a quick video, and we'll see. So let's jump into it, and then I'll be back with the results. All right, so I just did a pre-wash with Built Hamber Touchless, did a contact wash with CarPro Reset, and we're going to go through the final update of the 10-way ceramic spray sealant detail spray test. All right, so left to right, we've got Ethos Resist, Garage Therapy Sigma, DIY Detail Envy, and Quiver Hot Coat. So I think, let's see. Oh, they're all flat, right? So, I mean, all we're doing is judging the speed in which they sheet. So it's not the most fair thing to do, but we can see differences. We can see, and the fact that they're sheeting means they're still there, right? And so as we're going through this, we need to let it fully sheet off the top before we can judge the next row. So I'm going to time lapse this a little bit, but it actually looks like, I would say Sigma's in last place in this top row. All right, so I just need to get the water off the top row here. So, all right, let's see. I'm going to put this in a flat and just kind of work my way across. And so I was just putting the edge of my stream right on the tape line. I can see it from here, so we'll just see kind of how these sheet. So we got Fine Lab, Griots Garage, Nanoskin, Nanoshock, and then ADS Amplify all the way on the far end. They're all super flat. I think the Fine Lab is doing the best. Yeah, the Fine Lab is breaking through the most. Now you can see on the bottom, Tech 582 is actually doing a phenomenal job as well. That's up there. That's in the top 5 for sure. It's doing better than anything of these 5. So we got 584 here, 582 here. 582. I think 582 is close to first place. If I'm looking at just the way the beads look here, you know, the height of the beads, the tightness of the beads, the contact angle, which is kind of how the bead cuts underneath on the bottom. These are a little flatter, actually. These are a little flatter. I think Quiver, Hot Coat, and Envy are tighter beads. But it's right there with Sigma and Resist in the tightness of the beads, right? And so we can watch how fast it sheets. We can watch how fast or how well it beads. But ultimately, what determines hydrophobics is you know, the roundness of the beads when they start to tuck underneath themselves and actually reduce the contact angle with the panel. That's how you know if a panel is truly hydrophobic. So right now, I would say none of these are technically hydrophobic. Griots is sheeting pretty well. Fine Lab is sheeting pretty well. Nanoskin is not. ADS is not. I think 584 is doing a little better. Let me dry this stuff off. I mean, it's even hard to just get the Nanoskin to dry off with the blower. But all right, now we'll do the bottom 2 rows here with 584 and 582. And so we see 582 is sheeting much faster. does get a little help from the angle, so that's why I'm trying to pay attention to the tightness of the water beads. I think I would put it in 4th place based on the tightness of the beads, right in front of Sigma. So that's going to be it. I think 584 is going to be right behind Fine Lab. The final results is going to be Envy Hot Coat, Ethos Resist 582, Garage Therapy Sigma. We're going to have Fine Lab, Griots 584, Amplify, and then Nanoshock. That's going to be our final results. Go in for the wrap up. All right, y'all. So let's wrap this up. So we hit it with the Bolt Hammer touchless on the pre-wash. We contact washed it with CarPro Reset. And hydrophobics aren't great. They're pretty much gone. We're just seeing sheeting. You know, we can still see the products on the panel. They're sheeting at different rates. And so we can kind of see who's holding up the best. But, I mean, they're all dead at this point. You would want to have applied any of these by now. So I'm not going to rank, like, what's the best to worst overall. But I'm going to tell you what I would use in any given category. So we'll start with, you know, if I want a long-term protection product, I think I'm going to hit Hot Coat is going to be my go-to, you know, something I'm going to use every month. I think Envy did edge it out a little bit, and it's a bit more expensive, so those are both right there. And then we got Tech 582 right behind that. You know, it held up amazing, especially for how cheap it is. So they're all really, you know, really close to each other. And then I think right behind that is going to be the Garage Therapy. It had good filling properties. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. As far as darkening goes, the Resist was the best. I just could not get those things on camera. I tried. That's, you know, I'm still figuring this out, but I'm getting there. But so that's what I would do for the longer term. Now, if I wanted a product I was going to use every week, like as a drying aid, especially on a wet car, Fine Lab's going to be the best just because it's the easiest to apply out of everything. It's the slickest on application. It's super slick after the wipe off. You know, that's what I'm going to go there. And then I've got to say Tech 582. It's for the price. Like we got to factor in the price, right? Like the Fine Lab's 85, the Tech 582. We've seen it as like cheap as like $27 for a gallon, which is insane. You know, the normal price is like 33, so it's a steal all the time there. And I'm gonna rank this a little farther down because I think a lot of products have value here. Hot Coat right behind it. That's gonna be like more durable than 582, not by a ton, but slightly. The hydrophobics are gonna be a little better. You know, it's a great product, smells a little better in my opinion. I think the 582's got like just a slight chemical smell to it. It's like pineapple-y, but let me see. Yeah, this is just more tropical. The Hot Coat is just more tropical, so I think it smells better, but you know, does that matter? Is it worth spending like another $15 a gallon? That's up to you. Depends on where you're ordering it from. You know, we can get sales all the time on either one of them, especially with House of Rags. Having sales fairly often, but and then, you know, Armor Amplify is, I would say, the slickest product after the wipe off. And, you know, it's got a different intention. Like Amplify is meant to be used on a coated car to maintain slickness. It's not meant to add hydrophobics. And we can see that in how it applies, like what it does to the surface. It's just not meant to be a standalone protection. So I think it does great at what it's designed to do. Using it on a wet car, 2 sprays max per panel, you know, and so how I used it in my initial application was way too much. And so, you know, I think that does great there. And I think Garage Therapy Sigma does really good at that too. It adds a little more hydrophobics. So that's good too. You know, it's like, you know, Amplify doesn't have good hydrophobics on its own, but you can put it on top of a coated car and it's not going to hurt the hydrophobics at all because that's how it works. The product you put on top is not going to harm your hydrophobics. It shouldn't anyway. I've never seen a product do that, and there's several videos out there kind of showing that it's not a common thing. You know, the Tech 584 is real similar to Amplify. I think it's a little easier application, but Amplify is a little slicker. So I just, you know, I don't see a place in my process for 584. And then as far as like, if you're just wanting to touch up like door jambs and stuff like that, I think just slickness is the most important thing there. You know, what's going to work through the dirt, what you're just going to be able to put a ton of it on and not care. So I'm going to go 582, and I think 582 is going to be the best all-arounder, you know, just getting everything done. I personally think Hot Coat is the product that I'm going to use. That's the one I'm going to buy a gallon of out of anything here. You know, it smells better. It holds up just a touch better. It's barely. I put them side by side on a different car, and you can see it there. It is kind of hard to tell. I'm not gonna lie. So you couldn't go wrong with any of these three, and you know you just got to factor in price. So as far as you know, the next round of products, I've got several ready to go. I picked up a ton in Black Friday sales, and so I've got at least the next 2 rounds already ready. I'm only going to carry one product over from this round just to kind of get a comparison, just so we can have like a baseline. And so that's going to be Hot Coat. Hot Coat is the only one that's going to make it onto the next panel. Now, I'm going to make this like a championship thing. So I'm going to try to do 4 rounds of this, and then the best 2 from each round, plus 2 that I pick that I think deserve to make it on there and maybe didn't win their round. I'll do that. And so that'll be kind of based on durability more than anything for that last round. Anyway, I'll do this each set. I am going to polish the hood next time and hit it with a panel prep just for that extra level of security to make sure we got a fully clean panel. You know, because I think some of these products should have lasted a little longer, but hard to say. So if you got any products you want to see, I still got some open slots. Drop them down in the comments. Anything you want me to review or anything like that, anything I could have done better, let me know. Give me a like if you like the video, and I'd really appreciate a subscription. I'll talk to y'all soon.